Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. To make this crochet chunky oversized cardigan you will need a weight 6 yarn, an 8mm hook and a 12mm hook. Don't forget the free written pattern is on my blog crochetwithcarrie.com. And the yarn I used was Umami Tweed from Hobby. This is a weight 6 yarn. I used about 9 to 10 balls for a size small. So we're going to start off with our back panel, and using our 8mm hook we are going to chain 7. Then we're going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook and then single crochet into every chain to the end. For the next row, chain 1 and then turn your work. And now we're going to be working into the back loop of every stitch. So into that very first stitch and working into the back loop, place 1 single crochet and then continue placing 1 single crochet into every stitch, working into the back loop only. And repeat this row until you have a total of 42 rows completed. So for demonstration purposes I've only done 18 rows, but you are going to do 42 rows. So once you have your 42 rows, we are going to start working along the long edge. Just right here we're going to place single crochet all the way across, but first we're going to change our hook. We're going to take our 12mm hook and then we're going to chain 1 and then you're going to make 42 single crochet all the way across. So once you have your 42 single crochet, at the end of the row, chain 2. This chain 2 counts as your first half double crochet. So we're going to skip that very first space, and then into the next we are going to place a slip stitch. Into the next stitch, 1 half double crochet, then into the next stitch, 1 slip stitch. So you're going to repeat that all the way across, alternating between a half double crochet and a slip stitch. Here we are towards the end of the row. Your last stitch will be a slip stitch. So you're basically going to repeat this row over and over again. It's just a 1 row repeat. You're going to chain 2 and then turn your work. This chain 2 counts as your first half double crochet. So into the next stitch, place 1 slip stitch. into the next, place 1 half double crochet, and then into the next, place 1 slip stitch. And you're going to repeat that all the way across, alternating between 1 half double crochet and 1 slip stitch. Here we are towards the end of the row, and your last stitch is going to be on top of that chain 2, and on top of that chain 2 place your slip stitch. So you're going to go ahead and repeat this row over and over again until the end of row 36. This will give a cardigan length of about 20 inches. If you want it longer, just go ahead and do more rows. If you want it shorter, just do less rows. And once you have that done, you're going to fasten off. So now your back panel will just basically be one big square. Your front panel is done the same way, but instead of doing, when you start off your ribbing for the back panel, you did 42 rows, but this time for your front panel, you're going to do 16 rows. And then once you have your 16 rows, you're going to work 16 single crochet all the way across. And then you're going to start the main pattern with your chain 2, and then slip stitch into the next, half double crochet into the next, slip stitch into the next. And you're going to repeat that row until it's the same length as your back panel. So like I said, the front panels are worked the same as your back panel, but instead of doing 42 rows, we're going to do 16 rows of the ribbing, and then you're just going to repeat the same thing as you did with the back panel. You're going to do the same amount of rows, and then once you have the same length as your back panel, we're going to leave a long tail. So now we're going to start working on our sleeves, and for that I chained 7, single crochet into the second chain from the hook, and then continued on making single crochet. And I did the same thing as the ribbing for the front and the back panels, but I did 16 rows of single crochet back loop only using the 8mm hook. So once you have your 16 rows, we're going to change to our 12mm hook. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to make 16 single crochet. So once you have your 16 single crochet, we are going to chain 2 and then turn our work, and into that same stitch place 1 slip stitch. So just right there into that very first space, place 1 slip stitch, and then into the next stitch place 1 half double crochet, then a slip stitch into the next stitch, and you're going to repeat that all the way across, alternating between 1 half double crochet and 1 slip stitch. And then into that last stitch we're going to do another increase. So we're going to place 1 half double crochet, and then into that same stitch place 1 slip stitch. And you're just going to repeat that row. We're going to chain 2 and then turn your work, and into that same stitch place 1 slip stitch, So into that very first space, place one slip stitch, then we're going to half double crochet into the next stitch, and then slip stitch into the next stitch, and you're going to repeat that all the way across until we reach our last stitch. Here we are towards the end. I'm placing a slip stitch into that second to last stitch, and then on top of your chain 2 we're going to place one half double crochet and one slip stitch. So you're going to go ahead and repeat this row until you have a total of 28 stitches. So here I have 28 stitches, and from now on we're going to stop increasing. So for our next row we're just going to chain 2, and then we're going to turn our work, we're going to skip that very first space, and then into the next make one slip stitch, and then into the next space make one half double crochet, and then into the next make one slip stitch, and you're going to repeat that all the way across. And you're going to place your last slip stitch on top of that chain 2. So go ahead and repeat this row until your sleeve measures about 17 inches long. Once you have 17 inches of a length, we're going to fasten off and leave a long tail. So now we're going to start pushing the whole thing together. So you're going to lay your 2 front panels on top of your back panel, and then with a yarn needle and your long tails we're going to seam across here, and the same on the other side. When you have that done, you're going to lay the entire piece out flat with the wrong side facing up, and then you're going to grab a sleeve and you're going to mark the middle stitch with a stitch marker, and then you're going to connect that stitch marker to your shoulder seam. And then with your yarn needle and your long tail we're going to seam across. When you have that done, you're going to repeat the same thing on the other side with your other sleeve, and then you're going to fold your cardigan over and you're going to seam the under edge of your sleeve and then down along the sides, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Next we're going to turn our cardigan the right side out and we're going to start doing some inner ribbing. So we're going to attach our yarn to the bottom right hand corner, and we're going to single crochet all the way around this inner edge until we reach the other side. So we're going to be using our 8mm hook. So to attach our yarn, insert your hook into that very first stitch. Then we're going to pull our yarn through, and then we're just going to tie a knot. Then insert your hook in that space pull your yarn through and then chain 1. We're going to place our first single crochet into that same space, and then we're going to continue placing 1 single crochet all the way around this inner edge. Just make sure that your stitches aren't too close together or too far apart. So go ahead and single crochet all the way around until you reach the other side. So when you reach the other side, we are going to chain 5, then single crochet into that second chain from the hook, and then single crochet into each of the next 3 chains. Then we're going to make a slip stitch into each of the next 2 single crochet. Then turn your work and we're going to skip over those 2 slip stitches, and then we're going to make 4 single crochet working into the back loop only. Then chain 1, turn your work, make 4 single crochet working into the back loop only, and then place 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2 single crochet. And then you're just going to repeat that. We're going to turn our work, skip over those 2 slip stitches, then make 4 single crochet working into the back loop only, then chain 1, turn your work, make 4 single crochet working into the back loop only, then make 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2 single crochet. So you're going to go ahead and repeat that all the way around the inner edge of your cardigan until you reach the other side. When you reach the other side, we're just going to fasten off and weave in all our ends. And your crochet cardigan is now finished. If you liked this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Don't forget the free written pattern is on my blog crochetwithcarrie.com. So until next time, take care.